Do.
All righty, whenever you want to go live.
I'm all set. Are you set?
Let's do it.
Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening and welcome to the Alabama Vanderbilt post-game live show right here on Alabama at the Voice College Football, simulcast on the Voice College Football It's Count from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my good buddy Zach Ramulus, as we have witnessed something that we've not seen in our lifetime, like ever in college football. But some of you may have witnessed it in your lifetime, because for the first time since 1984, and for the first time since 1969 in Nashville, Tennessee, the Vanderbilt Commodores have upset the Alabama Crimson Tide. 40-35. Everyone in Vanderbilt is all excited. The Alabama Crimson Tide, what is going on with them? Well, we're going to learn quite a lot about them, because I'm going to tell you right now, it was a wild ride this afternoon. How you doing today, man?
What did we just watch?
I know, right? Huh?
Like, it's weird, like, because I was, last week was the big send-off for me, and I was going to go do my thing at a different channel, and we'll talk. And I was going to let, I handed over Bama to you. I know our things say host, co-host. He's the actual host here, guys. I was going to do my thing, but things just not working with that channel. Thank goodness for today. So, I'm hopping on here, and I watched, every minute of that game, and yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Wow. Didn't quite see that coming.
I mean, we're just kind of like sitting there with our mouths open, like Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon, just like, what the heck?
Oh yeah, when Ayton threw it down against the Clippers, just like I did not think they were going to lose until that last first down.
Oof. I basically got worried when it was halftime and we're trailing. Like, okay, this is really sinking in that we could lose this game. Like, my God, this is bad. Like, really bad.
Yeah. It's not positive.
No. Because it was like, we're just kind of... I feel like we let that Georgia game go to our heads. Like, we really did. It was just... Yeah. Breakaway says he's in shock. Didn't see it at all. Didn't see it coming at all. Brandy Hoffman says, oh, yeah, number 1 Alabama goes down to unranked Vandy. What a blow to Alabama's big ego. It's a beautiful thing. I take it that you're not a big Alabama fan. Let us know who your team is down in the comment section.
You always know when Bama loses, and I can tell you this from doing this for a long time. Bama doesn't lose often. What they do, the people love coming out. They love coming out, and I don't blame them, because their team's probably been owned by Alabama for a long time. So, Welcome everybody. What's College Football Alabama? I'll kind of sit here. I can monitor the chat a little bit and just kind of, but let's get into the game, man.
Oh man, yeah, because it looked like it was just gonna be an easy victory, right? We're just sitting, chilling. We're singing, humming in the sun. But the thing was, this week is a sloppy week in all of college football, and something I've been saying for a long time is that anytime there's a sloppy week in college football, upsets are coming. Kind of like how winter is coming on Game of Thrones. Well, upsets are coming. Unfortunately, we were the victims of it.
We haven't really gotten into the game, but although Vanderbilt ran the same plays, all 5 plays all game, Bama couldn't stop it. Unreal. Here's the thing with Vandy, and Jackson and I were talking about this, before we came on. We just wanted to bring this up. I'm not shocked it was close for a half. Coming off the huge monumental win that Bama did last week against Georgia, Vandy's a game team, man. They come to play. Like, that's a tough team. If you didn't watch, and I don't blame you if you didn't. Not everyone's a dork like me. Even if you're in a chat here, you decent chance you love college football. If you watched the New Mexico State team at all last year, that was a well-coached, executed, and tough as hell. I know they weren't as talented as like Liberty, but they did beat Auburn on the road. They're a tough team. And then that whole staff, like even Jerry Hill got brought in by Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And it's just a really good coaching staff. I'm not shocked it was close for a half. But as the game went on, usually Bama, Georgia, Texas, not Texas, OU, like Oregon, like a lot of those kind of schools, the schools at the upper level of talent, at some point Clemson, they just outdude teams like Vanderbilt. Where like you play them tough, and then they just have better guys than you do, and they win. When you're at the top of of college football, it just didn't happen today. They just could not. It wasn't like Vanderbilt went up and Bama just kind of slowly woke up, and it was too little, too late. Like Bama woke up, they were punching back, and Pavia was just doing his thing. Man, he's so fun to watch.
Yeah,
he was fun to watch last year.
Yeah, because it's like you said, he was tremendous at New Mexico State last season, and a lot of people I know I should have known better that when we were going against this Pavia kid, he was going to bring his A game against Alabama. Like don't ever think to yourself, oh well, this team lost to a pitiful team. They're going to pee their pants or they're going to fall down against the number one team. Like, don't ever let yourself think that way, because I'll tell you right now, that's where it bites you in the rear.
230 people in the chat, but Vandy, this isn't your. I mean, it's hard to say because I want to say like this isn't your dad's Vanderbilt. Like they did play Missouri really close. Missouri, a fraud, obviously, after today.
They upset Virginia Tech.
They beat Virginia Tech, who's not very good, but those are the times the teams Vanderbilt never beats. And then, so it's like, okay, like Vanderbilt's, they're much better. But they also lost to Georgia State, who's terrible, and whose coach left in May, and half their roster left with him. He left to go be like an assistant in South Carolina. So, I don't know. Like, we're getting into it a little bit, but Vanderbilt's better than I think we thought they were going to be coming into the year. Obviously, but and the talent level is higher than where it was. But man, like the whole game I'm watching, and I'm thinking, Vandy probably beats Mizzou. They probably beat Georgia State if they have Will Shepherd, who transferred to Colorado. Because Will Shepherd's a dude, but he left and he went to the Buffs. Man,
yeah,
like Bama's defense got punked today.
Our secondary sucks.
They're horrible.
Ugh.
And we got chewed out. We've been getting chewed out all year about saying Bama's secondary has been really, really leaky at times. And today. And there was no huge they had there were obviously some explosives of like 30 plus, like there was the one shovel pass or whatever.
Oh
but they
my
were
God.
Just, if all day, if Vandy needed 6, they were getting 8. If they needed 7, they were getting 10. If they needed 8, they were getting 11. Like it was just they were just picking up first, just doing enough to move the sticks. And that was an unbelievable performance by the Vandy. Like those are the I know Bama fans here. You're upset and you have every right to be and sound off in the comments, please. Those are the kind of things that like sometimes you watch in college football and you're like, this is why I like this sport, man. But yeah, Vandy 12 for 18 on third down. Just not good enough. And Jackson, you haven't really gotten mad yet. Well, I'm sure we'll get there.
Oh yeah.
But man, 418 yards.
It was pitiful. Pitiful. We look pitiful. We look so freaking pitiful. Oh man, it was.
I'll let you go, man, because
I mean,
this is your
3 of 7. We were 3 of 7 on third down. That's bad. I mean, that pick six, if anything. I mean, how did I not see that as a wake up call? Like I was like, we'll bounce back. We'll bounce back. It's like, no, you don't do that. You don't let yourself. Oh man, it was. Oh my god. Hey, kitty.
He's being annoying. Yeah, I mean,
He's not as annoying as those shuffle passes. Those shuffle passes were super annoying. Like if I hear shuffle pass, it'll be too soon.
I think time of possession is really overrated as a stat. Like the teams that always win time of possessions are Big Ten West teams that win 9 games and get pummeled by whoever they play. That's great. It's Iowa, then they get pummeled by Ohio State or whatever. But I don't think Vanderbilt holding the ball for 42 minutes compared to Bama's 18 minutes is insignificant. Bama had, like, in the first half, Bama had they after the pick, so they had the pick six, and then they only had 3 more drives the rest of the half. They kneeled it at the end of the half, but they only had 3 drives, and one was a touchdown, then they punted, and then a touchdown. Our longest drive was 3:41. Meanwhile, Vandy's drive 6:14, 9:50, 4:02. And for a team that's going to play, they just punched him in the mouth, and there was nothing Bama really did about it. I mean, super disappointing day from that D-line. That was pretty good last week for most of the game.
Yeah. And Davey says Vandy moved that clock out as much as they could. Rowan Present says Alabama don't stay down. If you gonna beat us, do it this year. Great game, will bounce back.
So I don't disagree with that point that, like, if you're gonna beat Bama, do it this year, but completely. But like those are for like Tennessee or Georgia, or because they're gonna play Georgia and Tennessee next year, or God, who else is on the schedule? Like OU, but I don't,
Oh, we got OU, Tennessee, LSU.
Like those are for like those teams, not Vandy. It doesn't matter how good or bad Vandy is. You cannot lose to Vandy.
No.
Now, the good thing for Alabama is now that we've expanded the playoff,
we're still good to go.
I mean, they go 10-2, they're fine, but they have eliminated most of their margin for error. Like they'll get in over like a 10-2, like they're not going to, but like a 10-2 Mizzou, a 10-2 Notre Dame, 10-2 A&M. They'll get in over those teams, but are they going to go 10-2?
That's a good question.
We're talking really about the macro of the season right now instead of diving into the micro of this game. But like, I think that's just where my brain goes when you lose to Vanderbilt.
Yeah. It's bad. I mean, it's just disastrous. Hey, kitty.
He's just laying here. He wants to listen.
Well, come on in, kitty cat. The more the merrier. Come on in.
You're a big guy. Yeah, you're okay.
There you go.
We got 256 here. Again, sound off in the comments, guys. Bama fans, what did you think? If you're not an Alabama fan, what were your mindset going through that game? My main question for the chat would be, I mean, we got somebody laughing, but that's not surprising. My main question for the chat is, at what point did you think Bama could lose this game?
And we got our friend Sonny Verma from Locked On Illini cast in the Big Ten show. Wishing a good evening. Still can't believe. Oh man, tell me about that.
Brother.
Oh man, like check out Sonny Verma on Locked On Illini cast in the Big Ten show. I can tell you right now, this guy is a mad genius when it comes to Illinois athletics and Big Ten athletics. I'm telling you right now, you want to go ahead and listen to him. Like he's one of the smartest guys I've ever hung out with. I recommend it. Like especially check out that watch party that he and Justin Adams from Nebraska at the Voice College Football on the Big Ten show, where they had a watch party for Nebraska Rutgers, and I gotta say, congrats to Nebraska for Justin. Shout out to Justin at Nebraska at the Voice College Football.
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
How did our defense, like, we did not prepare for shuffle passes. Our secondary, everything, it was just bad. It was bad. As Dave E puts it, they beat us in every phase of the game. But also David Schmidt, I think that's how you pronounce your name. He says that college football is a week-to-week league. You can't argue with that. LW says Vanderbilt ran the same 5 plays all game. Bama couldn't stop it. It's unreal. Well, as they say, truth is stranger than fiction. And A. Bastana says Vandy won when they kept scoring touchdowns. It came down to the defense just not getting stops. Not sure what happened there. DeBoer got outplayed and outcoached too. Yeah. We got massively outplayed. And as you said, the third down conversion rate, that's what really helped Vanderbilt right there. Because if you want to win ball games, you got to have a good rate on third downs. Because if you don't, it's going to chew you up.
Yeah, like I said, man, if Vanderbilt needed 4 yards, they got 6. If they needed 6 yards, they got 8. If they needed 8 yards, they got 10. They were just constantly churning out first downs. The run game for them wasn't that explosive, which is kind of what you expect with their offense and that RPO scheme and they run that scheme that, like, if you want to see that scheme on like a bigger stage, on like for like a bigger program, God bless Vanderbilt, like it's basically what Penn State runs. Or Kansas ran last year. They're definitely not a bigger program. But man, like that was what can you say? Like I'm just, and the reaction online, obviously, it's like the reaction in here, ha ha ha, which it's gonna be. When Bama loses, it's going to be like that. When Georgia loses, it's going to be like that, especially when it's to Vanderbilt. And the thing with is Vanderbilt, God bless them, it's a great school. They don't have a ton of fans, so it's everybody else laughing, which is like, all right, fair enough. But like you look at the run game, long of 13 yards. 54 carries for 166. Just not like they weren't killing you in the run game. And then but Pavia was 16 for 20 for 252 and 2 touchdowns. Eli Stowers was the recipient of a lot of those first down catches. He went 6 receptions for 113 yards. So have you ever seen that meme where the guy's like sitting back playing video games and then he sits up when like the game's starting to get tense?
Yeah.
When Vandy converted that 4th and 1 and chucked it for a touchdown, I didn't think Bama was going to lose until the game was over because usually like these kind of teams pull out those kind of games. This had to be in the third quarter, but I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting because I kept thinking like Bama eventually is going to get a stop, they're going to score, and then there's going to be like a turnover and Bama's going to win 45-35 or something, and no one's going to be happy.
Ooh. Yeah, it was not good.
I mean, we're still kind of in shock. Like, there's been a lot of moments of just like, what happened in Nashville? Offensively, outside of the pick 6, the offense was fine. You did score 35 points in 17 minutes or 18 minutes of possession. You punted twice, then you fumbled. So you had 2 turnovers that kind of killed them. But the offense was pretty good for the most part. I I was a little stunned how much they abandoned the run game. Like Milroe had it 7 times, but Jam Miller 5 carries for 45 yards. I will do what I like doing. That's taking away your longest run because that kind of shows more where you were from like a down to bound basis. But that's only four. So that's only 4 carries for 13 yards. You take away Justice Haynes' 13-yard run. He had 5 carries for 10 yards. So the Bama offensive line wasn't moving people. And although I was, like I said, I was a little shocked at how they kind of just abandoned it in the second half. But Milroe, 18-24 for 310, touchdown. Big. Brian Williams, only 3 catches today. 3 for 82. That touchdown was unbelievable. Him and Jeremiah Smith just keep making dueling, unbelievable plays. But the offensive line was just not good enough today. Just not good enough.
Like everything. Like we need to just work on everything because we certainly can't play like this against South Carolina next Saturday. I mean,
South Carolina's D-line is disgusting.
Yeah.
Their offense is way worse than Vandy's. Like their offense stinks. So I'm more confident in next week than I probably should be, considering you just lost to Vanderbilt. But like after that, you got Tennessee, you got LSU, you got OU, who's going to be healthy at that point. Like, man, those teams got some good D lines, and could probably score a point or two. Now they're not going to run the New Mexico State. Basically, they run a triple option with RPOs off of it, which is super fun. But it's a super fun offense. If you if you want to watch Kansas's, God, my hair is having a disaster day. If you ever watch like Kansas's like Leipold offense, or it's not the veer and shoot like at Tennessee, but man, the defense couldn't cover anything. Eli Stowers just kind of did whatever he wanted in the second, receiving wise.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It is indeed. It was. We have to do better if we want to get back into the playoffs.
Yeah, this is a kind. Now Bama's going to get a benefit of the doubt. Like I don't think anybody here would disagree with that. But this is the loss that could set your season back massively, because now if they go 9-3, it's like, yeah, it's Bama, but you lost to Vandy. And I don't care how good or bad Vandy is. Vandy might make a bowl game this year. They still got to play Auburn. They still got to play Kentucky. I don't know the full schedule off the top of my head. I know they play those 2 teams, though. I think they play South Carolina, so they might get to a bowl game. But there's still going to be that stigma of it's Vanderbilt and you lost. So, I mean, this whole show's just been about the macro of the season, but –
well, and they got Ball State 2 weeks from now. They got Texas coming to Nashville on October 26th.
They'll probably lose. They'll beat Ball State. They'll probably lose to Texas. They will lose to Texas.
Kentucky's next Saturday.
Is that in Lexington or in Nashville?
Lexington.
I mean, not like no one's ever said, "Oh, Kroger Field, that's a tough place to play." So
yeah,
that'll be a fun one.
But they have to go to Jordan-Hare on November 2nd, and they got LSU. They can win
that. The same coaching staff and players basically won in Jordan-Hare last year.
Well, and they got them.
And I'm not here to talk trash about Auburn because Bama did just lose to Vanderbilt.
True.
But like this,
they got Tennessee. They got Tennessee on rivalry week as well.
Dude, their home SEC schedule was like Bama, Texas, Tennessee, and then I think they got South Carolina home. It's like you gave them Texas, Tennessee, and Bama, and then they go out and beat Bama. So it shows what we all know.
Yeah, that I'm gonna make sure. As God is my witness, I will not talk crap about anybody's schedules again. Like I'll like at least the conference portion, because like the last time I ran my mouth, because a good buddy of mine, Austin, we were talking about like NFL schedules like the Christmas Day schedule a year ago. I was like, why are Chiefs Raiders on Christmas Day? Don't they know that Josh McDaniels coached the Raiders? And then, of course, Josh McDaniels is thrown out because he's a disaster. Then the Raiders win on Christmas Day. Told them, I'm not complaining about who's on Christmas Day again.
Yeah, there's never really a bad slate. Like, I'm trying to think, week 3, I think, was like the worst slate. And before the season,
So far
like next week was supposed to be the greatest slate ever. And then the following week, it's like, oh, we have Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Like I think Illinois plays host to Michigan. Like we got a bunch of good games that week.
Yeah, Alabama's going to play Tennessee, of course. Illinois is playing Michigan in the 100th anniversary of the Red Grange game.
I know. I saw those. I love the helmets. Hate the jerseys.
Yeah.
If our Illinois friends still here, love the helmets. Those are so cool. Jerseys. But back to Bama. I mean, like I said, I didn't think they were going to lose it until the last play. Like they scored, and I'm like, okay, I've seen this movie 100 times with these kind of teams. They're going to get a stop. Vandy's going to go super conservative. They're going to get a stop. Bama's going to score, win the game. It's just always how it goes. Vandy didn't get conservative on 2nd and 12. They ran like a play action and looped around, and Pavia made a really nice throw, and it was a first down. And I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't DeBoer call a timeout there? Why did he let it run to the 2-minute? Because I'm like, okay, if you stop him on first, okay, so it's first down. Call timeout. So they run a play, 2nd down, it's a 2-minute warning. I mean, whatever. Like I'm sure he had a reason. Despite today, he's a really good football coach. I was just really confused. Like, no, they should not lose to Vanderbilt ever. There are certain schools Bama should never lose to. And they don't. And they don't. Bama never loses to like Mississippi State. They never lose to Vanderbilt. It's been forever since they lost to like Arkansas or.
We hadn't lost to Arkansas since 2006. That was on CBS.
Yeah. Like when Bama's rolling and they're playing well, which they are, they did just beat Georgia. College football, I know it's a week-to-week season, it really is, but we also have a set of data that shows how good your team is. What's the high point? What's the low point? They did just beat a Georgia team we all think is very good and handled Auburn easily today. And those level teams should never lose to Vanderbilt. I mean, is anyone going to have a bigger whiplash from media sessions than DeBoer?
Not this week.
Oh, my God. Last week, you're the greatest thing ever. You're the next thing at Bama. Next Saban, next big thing in college football. And now, all right, he's gonna get some heat, and all off season, the practices are looser. We're having more fun. They're playing music. We're doing all this stuff. My office is more accessible. I'm different to Saban, and that's all well and good when you win, man. But the first time you lose, it's gonna suck. This isn't buttoned up. This isn't. And here you are. You lost to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
In front of a neutral crowd, because half that crowd, if not more than half the crowd, was Alabama fans. Yep. It just can't happen.
Well, and Andrew the GOAT asked us if this hurts our chances getting into the playoffs after this. But what'd you say, Zach?
Of course it does. Now your margin of error has gone from if Bama wins this game, which they should have, you have a huge margin of error. You can go into Knoxville and lose. You could have lost to LSU. You could go 10-2, and now you're reasonably still in the playoff. At 10-2, Bama's still in because they're Alabama, and they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. I know some Bama fans don't like hearing that. Some other teams' fans don't like hearing that. No one likes hearing that phrase. But they're going to get the benefit of the doubt. Now, if you lose in Knoxville and you lose to LSU or you lose to OU or you drop another game somewhere, now you're 9-3 and you're not making it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this definitely hurts your chances. I don't think Bama's going to go 11-1 after today. So even if you go 10-2, you're not getting a home game. You're going on the road for round one. I think after today, you can pretty firmly say they're gonna go on the road for the first round of the college football playoff.
And, it's the fourth time in school history that our team has lost to an unranked team as number one. The other 3 times were 1962 against Georgia Tech, 6-3, 1980 against Mississippi State, and 6-3, and we lost in 2021, 41-38 against Texas A&M.
The Texas A&M one, obviously, I remember. That was I was on here after that one.
Yeah.
I was still the main guy here, not doing the other channel. We lost to a team that we took for granted. I mean, we were talking about this. I'm not shocked it was close at first. Vanderbilt's a really game team. They play really, really hard. I wasn't shocked it was even close at half. No, I was shocked they were up 16 or 9 at half. But I wasn't going to be surprised if Vanderbilt was even leading at half. Like Vanderbilt, they come to play. I don't know what happened against Georgia State, but they come to play and they have good game plans. That's a really good coaching staff. If you follow me on Twitter, I said that's might be like top to bottom. I don't think Clark Lee's a top half of the SEC coach, but I think the staff is a top half of the league level of coaching staff. When you think about Jerry Kill and Tim Beck and all these other guys they brought over from New Mexico State, it's a really smart group that knows how to coach football. When you're at Vanderbilt, you're not going to be able to recruit. You just need ball coaches that know how to win games, and that's what they have. Jerry Kill just wins football games. But I thought in the second half, Bama would turn it on and win by 17, and it would be like, like a 45-28 kind of game or 42-24 or something, where no one's happy because, you were losing at half to Vanderbilt, but Vandy would be Vandy would probably be a bowl team. I mean, yeah, they're going to be a bowl. They might be a bowl team in the SEC. You said they got Ball State, right? So that's
October 19th.
That's a 4th win. Then they just got to win 2 of 3 against South Carolina, Kentucky, and
probably Auburn.
And Auburn, yeah, that's what I was thinking. You got to win 2 of those 3,
or at least one of the 3 ranked teams in Texas, Tennessee, or LSU. Most likely one being, yeah.
But you just got to win 2 of 3 against Kentucky, who's very beatable. South Carolina, who's very beatable, and Auburn, who this staff and team beat last year. Basically, I mean, I know this isn't just the New Mexico State Aggies in the SEC, but a lot of the key guys are. So, they might be a bowl team in the SEC. And if you watch, they should have beaten Mizzou. So, but that doesn't matter. You can't lose to Vanderbilt.
No, nobody should. Especially at Bama.
No, Vandy can beat teams. Like James Franklin had a nice run there. They beat Georgia the one year, but if you remember 2013 Georgia, everybody was hurt. They were running out me at running back. I think his name was Brandon Douglas. He was just I could be very wrong on that. But they just were not that they have 2 9-win seasons in the last 70 years or something. It's just not a good pro. You can't lose to them.
No.
It doesn't matter if they're a bowl team. Mississippi State's always was a bowl team for 15 years in a row. Bama never lost to them. Came close a couple times. I remember the Devontae Smith play.
Well, I mean, yeah, because the last time we lost to them was 2007. That was in Saban's first year.
Yeah.
And I got some questions about the throwing the baby out with the bathwater line of thinking, especially from Brandy Huffman.
No. DeBoer's a really good football coach.
Yeah, because I understand you're upset and all, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. My God, you don't do that. You gotta clear your head. Think about where you went right, where you went wrong.
But I think what now under DeBoer, the difference between DeBoer and Saban is, and DeBoer is a really good coach.
Mm-hmm.
He is. He's a really good coach. There's no denying this. He took Washington from 4-8 to the national championship in 2 years. 2 years. That's how he's a good coach. But there's a reason why Saban's the GOAT. He did not lose these games.
Nope.
Most of the time, they didn't come close. Like Georgia in this run, once a year, comes really close to losing a really stupid game. Saban, for the most part, did not come close to losing these games. With DeBoer, you lost one, and you might be on the hook to lose sometimes. Or it's going to be closer. But, I didn't think they were going to lose today, but I understand why people are upset. That can't happen. It just cannot happen. No. And some of you probably took the Saban era for granted. I know people that did. You take great things for granted when it's happening routinely. But, man, Alabama not good. They just beat Georgia, man. They did just beat Georgia. And if you don't think Georgia, and they were up 20. And we know what happened. Georgia came all the way back and whatever. But no, Bama's a really good football team, but they're not a flying death machine like they've been in the past. He's just trolling.
Oh, okay.
He's got to be just trolling.
Well,
they're not going to be the flying death machine.
You want to have fun with Alabama? Now's a good time to have fun with us about it. But, speaking of some fun, we got our friend Mark Rogers giving out a little advice on Voice College football bets from him, Steve Merrill, Steve Dace, and Matt Zemek for more.
College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.
And that's not all. You can also check out the Under the Radar Steve Merrill every week from Patreon and YouTube membership at the Voice College Football YouTube membership for $99 a month. Stay tuned. And that's not all. You can also check out for the what happened? Our buddy left for a little bit. He'll be back. But in the meantime, while we wait, we got ourselves the new book from Mark Rogers himself, The Disputed National Champions, College Football's Historical 1990s Reset. And in this book, Mark Rogers be going over what happened during the 90s, how the decade changed the sport, why the championship results should be questioned, how to critically think through the scenarios, to appreciate the accomplishments of teams that were not recognized as champions. This book provides an in-depth analysis of the changes, controversies, outcomes, and that defined a decade of college football. It challenges readers to explore and critically evaluate the decisions that shaped the national championship landscape, unlock the mysteries of college football's most debated decade. Grab your copy now. And Amazon Prime is coming up in a few days. So what you want to do is shop on Amazon using the link to support the voice of college football. You don't need to buy the product display. It doesn't cost you a penny. You have the same shopping experience. Click on the link down below. Tell all your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publix about what is going on Alabama at the voice of college football. What you want to do as well is also become a YouTube member. And I can tell you right now, it's always fun right here on Alabama with the voice of college football. Here we go. So what you can do here is you can become a Crimson Faithful member for $2.99 a month. And also, if you're not looking for $2.99 a month, no problem. What you can do is also become a Saban. You get loyalty badges, custom emojis, member shoutouts. And if you become a Saban disciple, you get priority reply to comments and access to monthly hangouts from yours truly. And for $9.99 a month, you can give out content requests and connect on social media with some of the hosts of Alabama with the Voice College Football. And I can tell you right now, it's always going to be fun, so stay tuned. So I recommend checking out Alabama with the Voice College Football. And if you want to become a YouTube member right there, you can pick any one of those tiers. I recommend you become one because I can guarantee you're going to get some of the best insider knowledge in all of Alabama football. Stay tuned.
Sorry about that. There was a car accident in front of my place, so I just want to make sure everyone. Are
you doing all right, man?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. It wasn't my car. My car's in the back. I just looked out and I hear a thud and I look out and I hear yelling and I was like, oh, I better go make sure I don't need to call cops or an ambulance or anything. That was crazy. I've been here for a few months and I didn't have any car accidents. And then like the last 3 weeks I've had 3. So whatever. But I was like, All right. So where were we? I know you're going through some sponsorship reads.
We were telling everybody about
going through the stuff that makes college football great. Excuse me.
Yep, going over Amazon, especially with Prime Day coming up, and we got the book Disputed National Champions College Football.
Read it.
Exactly. Go get it, and Prime Day is coming up.
Yep, super excited for that.
Yep, and birthdays. Some people that got birthdays in this month or in November, now's a good time to go get it. And
I actually on Prime Days, I'm super excited. I'm gonna get a treadmill, like a little desk treadmill to watch while I watch games.
Yeah,
just so I can so I'm not just laying here slothfully.
Oh, there you go. Well, and you can also check out some top-notch quality merchandise from the Voice College Football. Hold on one sec. There's Here we go. And ta-da, you got the merch. Here we go. We got the double. No. Somewhere. There it is. Just in time for the fall. You can get slides, coffee mugs, can coolers, t-shirts, a notebook as well. It will keep all your secrets safe, especially if you've got some venting to do.
As we invented tonight.
Yeah.
See, the crazy thing is, I don't even think we're venting. I think the anger will come to, for a lot of Bama fans, will come tomorrow. I think tonight we're still too in shock. Or you guys are still too in shock.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you haven't been that angry. The chat hasn't been that angry. I think everyone's just still more like, how did that happen? Acceptance is the first path to – and, people haven't really accepted that this has happened yet. But, yeah, on Amazon, look at all this stuff. I got the notebook. I actually write down a lot of my college football stuff at work.
Oh, there you go.
Shouldn't do that. Don't don't be doing that at work, but
Nope.
I do.
Well, and also on top quality shirts for the Voice College Football merch, there's a blue jean jacket, Voice College Football flag, phone case, some t-shirts for the little ones, pullovers, hoodies. We got it all. Long sleeves. Oh, and there's a dog bowl. Little dog bowl. Well,
Cat
it
bowl.
could be, yeah, there you go. It can be a cat bowl too.
I'll probably pick that up.
Could you say no to that sweet little face? I don't think I could. Could you, Zach?
No, I have 2 cats, but no, I can't say no.
I know we can't. So come on in to topqualityshirts.com where you can get some of the top-notch merchandise for the voice of college football. And also, if you got any merch requests, send it to footballnewshour@gmail.com. Well, back to the game.
Unfortunately, all the cool stuff is gone. Stop talking about all the cool stuff and start talking about,
Oh, man. It was like, oh, man. Well, I'm thinking about doing that as well. Because even though my dog's an old man, so to speak, I still just kind of want to give him something nice. Little dog bowl's all right. But yeah, the shuffle passes from Diego Pavea, they were huge. And I feel like had it not been for Ryan Williams, the game, it would have just been, it would have been much worse than the final score indicated. It really would have been. Yeah. So it kind of just bought us time a little bit. And one of our receivers who is out for today due to an injury from last week, Kendrick Law, I think that really hurt us today as well. And again, our secondary looking like a disaster. Our defense was obviously not prepared for those shuffle passes. We weren't prepared for anything really. We thought we had this game won. I know that Uncle Lou on Ats was saying that we played for Georgia while Georgia played for Natties. I don't think I'm ready to say we only played for Georgia and that was it. I'm not ready to say that. But we did look pretty bad. And that was not good that we lost to Vandy. And hopefully we can do better against South Carolina. Because, as Zach said, South Carolina's defense, terrible. Terrible. And that pick six, that should have been a wake-up call. Because, like, some of us that watched this game thought it was just another victory. We're going to win. We're going to be dominating Vanderbilt eventually. But they never gave up the lead. That's the thing. We never had a lead at all. Vanderbilt had the lead throughout the game as a whole. That's something to let sink in for a moment. And Pavea had 56 rushing yards, 20 carries, 252 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 16 of 20 completed passes. So we obviously did not put a stop to him for sure. And Zach is...
Yeah, Cobb showed up. I had to talk to him, see what I saw and all that fun stuff. So,
yeah.
What a night this has turned out to be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, have you talked about what's going on in the rest of college football?
I talked a little bit about Diego Pavea having a good passing game.
I was just talking about the weirdness of this week. I mean,
oh man, like Missouri, I'm sorry to say, got smacked. Sorry. Uh-oh, face freeze. Ooh. But yeah, it's been weird today. Oh, here's a little something weird. Florida's winning right now against Central Florida. Although, really? You didn't wait? Oh, you waited till this week. Oh, okay, Florida. Oh, man. And Clemson is dominating Florida State. I mean, what a surprise. Tennessee, Arkansas. Well, why do I get the feeling Arkansas is going to blow this game like they did against Texas A&M and Oklahoma State? They're leading 3-0 in the second quarter. Washington's ahead of Michigan, which I guess Washington was the favorite for a reason against Michigan. Minnesota's ahead of USC, which I guess upsets are really coming after this one. But I mean, nothing is going to top Alabama losing to Vanderbilt this week, obviously. And our defense has just been, our secondary has just been a disaster. We got lucky against Georgia. And I said on Monday night on Crimson Tide Live, the 6th edition, I said that we need our secondary to look really good. We need to do better on our secondary because we play like crap again. We could lose Tennessee. Well, we lost to Vanderbilt today. That's not good. We went down. Hopefully, this puts a fire in our butts because it should. It really should. And luckily, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the first game we never led in since 2019. That's yikes. And it's the first time we lost to an unranked team since 2021, which was the Texas A&M game. But I can't help but wonder, because I'm thinking about how we're going to be against South Carolina. I really hope we have a better performance next week. I really hope it lights a fire in us. I really want it to. But our secondary just needs to get better and better and better. Because if our secondary does not get fixed, we will have more games like this. And it'll get much worse for this season if it doesn't get fixed. I'm looking at the rest of our stats also. I mean, we had 84 rushing yards. That's bad. That is bad. I mean, that pick six hurt us, obviously. Shuffle passes hurt us. 3 out of 7 in third downs. We were not efficient on third down. Vanderbilt was. And it helped them right there. Yup. Breakaway, what was your take? Like, what? And matter of fact, the rest of the chat, what was your takeaway from the Vanderbilt Alabama matchup? Like, what was something that you feel Alabama should have learned from? Like, what was something?
Cursed night.
What?
Cursed night. And then my Wi-Fi went out for 2 seconds.
Oh, man. It's face freezing on you.
Oh, that's great. That's what the people want to see.
I know. It's like it.
Because I was just talking like Tennessee's looks like crap against Arkansas.
Yeah, but Arkansas will blow it again like they always do.
Of course they will. But USC's struggling. Michigan, like this is just a weird day. But again, like Washington's a competent program and has been, obviously. Arkansas is at like that's a distinct home field advantage for Arkansas. You lost to Vanderbilt. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt wherever you were.
You're good. You're good. But yeah, like our third down efficiency was not very efficient today.
No, that's how you give up 42 minutes of possession.
Mm-hmm. And looks like Billy Napier could be buying himself some time.
Are they up?
Oh yeah, they're winning 14-3, and with Central Florida being the favorite,
Central
that
Florida
means
just got murdered by Colorado. Like, they're not that good.
yeah. But knowing them, they're gonna be the favorite again against Cincinnati. They'll get beat, and then what's gonna happen is no one's talking about Central Florida, Iowa State, and then Central Florida has their little magic like they always do.
But, like, who are we to make fun of anybody else tonight, man?
I
Like,
know, right? It's like
lost to
we're ones
Vandy.
to
Like,
talk.
Alabama be lucky to be 10. They shouldn't be top 10.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest of the results shake out tonight. But, we'll see, who beats who and who loses. But
I think maybe Alabama should get knocked out of the top 10 because maybe it will light a fire on them. It'll teach them to go, don't be losing to Vandy. Don't be losing do not be losing games that you shouldn't.
to Vandy, like, Georgia plays games close all the
Yeah.
time. Like, I'm thinking 22 against Mizzou, 20 last year against South Carolina and Auburn. I think they played pretty close. 21. They lost, but to Bam, obviously, but forgetting who. But, like, you can't lose this game, man.
No.
I don't care who you are. You can't lose that football game.
Oh, man.
Be really funny if USC lost to Minnesota, by the way. Like, very, very funny.
It doesn't really feel like a surprise about Minnesota being that trap game because USC's got a big game coming up against Penn State next Saturday, and Minnesota really has nothing to lose,
And they
really.
did play Michigan really hard last week.
Oh, yeah. In the fourth quarter. It was like, okay, fourth quarter, boys, gut check time.
But, like, again, I think tonight a lot of us are just still in shock. Like I think the feeling tomorrow or Monday when you guys do Alabama Live is just going to be – is it Monday? Sorry.
Yeah, Monday, 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I feel like the rage will really come out. Like, what were you doing in this situation? Milrow in the pocket. Why did your controller die and you just stood there and then you got hit, fumbled, and basically that ended the game. Or not did end the game, but that was a huge momentum swing back to Vanderbilt's way. There's just so many little things about tonight's game that credit to Vandy, credit to Tim Beck, credit to Diego Pavia, Eli Stowers, just credit to those guys, man. They played an excellent football game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the game of their lives.
True.
And they won it. A lot of times these teams play great game of their lives and they lose. I'm thinking of like Bowling Green against Penn State a couple weeks ago, where they took them down to the wire, or Bowling Green against Texas A&M. So many of these teams, they play or they play these elite teams close to the wire, or teams that are above their pay grade. Bowling Green, like A&M's not an elite team, but you know what I'm saying. And then they just lose it. And oh man, they played the game of their lives. They didn't turn the ball over. The thing I'm going to give Vanderbilt a ton of credit on. A lot of times when teams are in games like this, they start to cinch up and they start to play really conservatively and they start playing the clock. They're like, okay, there's 6 minutes left. We got to start, and then they fall behind the chains. Defense makes some big plays. Maybe they turn the ball over. There's a big drop. Vandy had a huge drop, and I think it was like a 3rd and 8. It was like a 30-yard toss down the sideline, and the kid just dropped it. And I was like, okay, that's the play. Like, now Bama's going to start rolling. Didn't happen. A lot of times in these games, though, like these teams start to cinch up. They start to get nervous. They start like, oh, God, we could really do this. And then they blow it. They didn't do that. They were aggressive until the final whistle. 2nd and 12. Bama still has 2 timeouts, and Bama still, I think at that time, it was before the 2-minute warning, and they ran a long developing play action where he hands it off one way, rolls out the other way, and he made a really, really nice throw. And sometimes you just got to give credit where credit's due. Yeah, Pavia's dream was to beat Bama. He would rewatch that. Yeah, that's why he wears 2. He loves Manziel. And he kind of plays like he's not as good as Johnny, obviously. He's not going to win a Heisman.
Yeah.
But, man, and Arkansas misses another chance at points. They've held the ball for, I think, 18, 19 minutes this half. I think that's what I just saw while my internet was booting back up.
Yeah.
They've been dominating. But and so credit to them. Like this is the upset of the year in college football moving forward. Like this is probably bigger than NIU over Notre Dame because I don't think Notre Dame's that good.
Yeah.
They may make the playoff, but I don't think it's because Notre Dame's good. I think their schedule stinks. But
obviously,
like this might be the upset of the year.
Yeah.
Arkansas has held the ball for 20 minutes in the first half, and they're only up 3-0. I'm sure that won't come back to bite them.
Oh yeah, Arkansas is going to blow it, but they always, yeah. I mean, is Sam Pittman going to be continuing it on as the head coach for this year, or is it?
I'll probably get through this year because they're going to probably win enough games to keep him around, but I doubt he stays next year.
Oh yeah, they'll have that little vote of confidence thing lined up or whatever.
Yeah, and then we'll see what they do. If I were them, I would call John Summerall.
And Breakaway 34 said, off topic, you're right. Which one was it? Me or him?
No, that way. My bad. I mean, I never said Tennessee was slow. I thought Tennessee, they started slow, but Mizzou being overrated, like I'm the Mizzou guy around here. So
yeah.
I thought they were overrated. And Vandy won today, so that kind of vindicates Mizzou beating them by 3. But like Boston College just lost to. Oh, you called my team over. I was calling them overrated too. Like,
well,
okay, I don't want to turn this into a Mizzou conversation, but like, Boston College is ranked and they beat them. Like, win's a win, and then Boston College goes out and loses by double digits to Virginia. So they're not good. We'll see what happens the rest of the year. We'll see what happens the rest of the year with Alabama. I mean,
true.
Man, that just can't happen.
No.
It just can't happen. I've said that a million times tonight. At some point in all of these games, the dudes, the 4 and 5-star guys, just start playing like 4 and 5-star guys and win. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Did not happen. What? So you like I said, I don't know. It's hard to even pinpoint what exactly went wrong in this game because defensively, everything went wrong. They didn't do one right thing defensively. They weren't getting pressure. They weren't stopping the run. They limited the explosiveness of Vanderbilt's run game, but Vanderbilt wasn't put in a lot of 3rd and forevers. There's a lot of 3rd and 6, a lot of 3rd and 7, which is 3rd and long, but like those are like you can still key things up and they can still do their triple option RPO stuff. I think the story tonight is Bama's defense. I thought Milroe played okay. The pick wasn't even really on him. The fumble was bad. Part of that's the offensive line, but Milroe's got to have better awareness. The defense tonight got punked in every sense of the word. Interior, linebackers, safeties. The linebackers had no idea what to do in the pass game. As did, and neither did the safeties. They had no idea what to do. Vanderbilt's offense was just their keys and all that were just way off course tonight, and it cost them. And it might cost them the playoff. We'll see what happens. They're 4-1. We still got 7 games left, and they got some tough ones. Auburn. I know they lost to Vanderbilt, but I think Vanderbilt's probably better than Auburn. They should beat South Carolina. They should beat Mizzou. But you got to go to OU. You got to go to LSU. You got to go to Tennessee. And then they got like Charleston Southern or whatever.
We got Mercer. I mean,
Mercer. Oh, the Bears. I should remember that because we've talked about, and every time we talk about them, I'm like, oh, yeah, they beat Duke in 2014. The guy did the dance. It was cool. The Jabari Parker Duke. That's how old I am. Youngins out there. I was in high school. But, there's probably like 3 wins they should get left on the schedule, and then they got to go on the road. Or 4. They should beat South Carolina at home. They should beat Missouri at home, and they should beat Mercer and Auburn at home. Like, they'll win the home games.
Auburn kind of feels like that game that could be a close. I mean, I know we're in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, in Tuscaloosa. I'm not worried about Auburn.
Yeah, but I mean, we didn't think we'd lose to Vandy.
That's true. But I think Vanderbilt's better than Auburn.
True. But it's like Auburn having nothing to lose this year. I don't know.
I don't know why I'm sounding so confident. They did literally just lose to Vanderbilt. But I think Vanderbilt, I forget which podcast, maybe, I don't remember. But they talked about when you're a team like a Vandy, a Kansas.
Who is the host?
I don't remember. It wasn't one of us, so I'm not going to say their name. No free publicity here.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
You can type it in private chat.
When you're a team like that and you can't get dudes. You just can't. Like, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are. You're just not going to get dudes. You have to bring in a scheme that is a pain in the butt and you can maybe catch a couple teams overlooking you to get to bowl eligibility. Vandy's scheme's awesome. Like, it's a great scheme. I wish there's a lot of teams in the country I wish would run something similar instead of just like your traditional spread RPO kind of basic offense that we see 95% of the teams run. And then, because remember you're old enough to remember when college football, like based on where you were regionally, is where, like what kind of offense? Like the Big Ten offenses were pretty specific.
Yeah.
Except for maybe like Purdue, SEC had their brand of offense. The Big 12 was always more spread, wide open. No free press. I sent in the private chat who it was, but they talked, and Vandy brought in a scheme that could catch teams overlooking, but it's not supposed to be Vanderbilt or Alabama. That's supposed to be like you catch Kentucky napping, or at the very high end, maybe like a Texas A&M, LSU team. Like they're normally really, really good, but maybe you catch them when they're a top 20 team instead of a top 15 team, and you beat them. It's not supposed to happen to Alabama, man. Like that can't happen. I mean, I think if we were able to reword the title, I know it's Alabama Postgame Live, but man, like we should just rename it to That Can't Happen. It just cannot happen. I mean, we've been talking about the playoff. We've been talking about the kind of the long-term ramifications of losing to Vanderbilt and kind of what happened in this game. I'm still having difficulty wrapping my head around Alabama lost to Vanderbilt.
It's rough. It's all right, good buddy. Got SARS right here.
Like, what? Do you have any thought, like more thought? Like, this is your show. We'll go as long as you want.
Oh, yeah.
I'm probably not going to, I can hop off and you can just go. But because like I have all night because of my internet and police and car crashes, just a disaster of a night for yours truly. But like, man, the whiplash of beating Georgia, like everyone circled that game as like, hey, man, this is if DeBoer wins this, like we're going to be fine. And then they did. And then immediately the next week, it's like, oh God.
Yeah. It was just so bad. But, Zach, what you got going on this week? Like, wait, we got all our thoughts out the way, right?
I think so. I think I mean, my main overall thought is what I just keep repeating. That can't happen. It doesn't matter how good you like. I don't care if Bama's a 9-3 team. Those 3 losses, one of them can't be Vanderbilt.
No. You don't lose
and
to
congrats to
Vandy.
Vandy, by the way. That's an
True.
awesome win. That fan base will remember this night forever. You know, whenever they go back to being an extreme doormat again, which will happen, they're going to remember that this night, and they should, and that's amazing. And this is what college football is all about. It's not always about the national championship or the freaking playoff. It's about a team that no one talks about. Like Cal's going to have a moment here in about an hour and a half where they can, today was awesome at game day. I didn't watch a ton of it, but I saw like stuff on Twitter. It's about these kind of programs having a moment or a day that they will never forget. Or a team like Indiana that's having a special season. They're 6-0. They were the first team to reach bowl eligibility. They have a bye week. Then they host Nebraska. They could beat Nebraska.
It could be on big noon kickoff.
Yeah, they could beat Nebraska. And then I think they play like Michigan State. And then they got Michigan at home. Like, this is to me what college football is about. Nights like this where, like, Arkansas is leading at half. Arkansas wins this game. Those fans are never going to forget it. Washington gets revenge for last year if they beat Michigan tonight. Never going to get it. Minnesota is going to say, we played a USC's been in the 15 years from now. Yeah. Minnesota fans are going to be like, USC's first road game in the Big Ten was us, and we beat them. That's what this sport's about.
You just got me thinking about a line from Monsters University where the big dogs were telling Mike Wazowski, once we beat you, no one's even going to remember you. And then Mike Wazowski hits him with that iconic line, but when we beat you, no one will let you forget it. And then that crab goes, that he makes a very good point.
Yeah. You lose to Vandy, your season's over. Yeah, if we were playing by rules that college football should be, I'm going on a diatribe tonight. Now I'm getting no. Yeah, if we were let me keep the comment up. Yeah, if we were playing college football by how it should be played, but we got this 12-team playoff. If Bama goes 10-2, like let's say Bama loses to Tennessee, but then they beat LSU, they beat Oklahoma, and this is all hypothetical. I understand. They're in. They're not going to host a game. I think somebody asked earlier, what do they have to do to host a game? The answer is win out. You can't lose another game because you lost to Vanderbilt. No, season's not over. They still, if they take care of business, unlike today, they'll be in the playoff, and they'll have a chance to win the national title, which is why I think the 12-team playoff is dumb. I think it's dumb.
Here we go.
No, you lost to Vanderbilt. You shouldn't have a chance to be the best team in the country. You lost to Northern Illinois. You don't deserve to have a chance to become the best team in the country.
No.
But they do. That's just the world we live in. And you know what? It's like I don't lose sleep over it. It's like a preferential thing. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like the wild card series in baseball either. I think that's dumb too.
I kind of wish we could have like 1 through 8 for everybody, but I mean, oh well, it is what it is.
Go back to 2, man. Go back to the BCS. No one was opting out of bowl games in the BCS because ESPN and Fox didn't make it. Well, mostly ESPN because Fox doesn't have the playoff, but didn't make it. So the only thing that mattered was the national championship or the playoff. Bama played in a Citrus Bowl, and everybody was there, and they kicked the crap out of Kirk Cousins in Michigan State. Everybody played. They missed. They lost to Auburn on the kick 6 in one of the toughest games to ever lose. You lose your chance at a three-peat. You lose your first game since in 25. I forget how many they won in a row. They lost to A&M, and then they won up until the last game of the next season. But you do that, and you play Oklahoma. Now, they didn't show up that night. But that's something different. But everybody played.
Yeah.
Bowl games mattered. Like, teams were excited to play, and not just, the big ones. But you got to go to Florida for the Outback Bowl? That was cool. And people would wear a Bloomin' Onion costume. And it was awesome. And it was fun. And everybody played, and you got to be like, wow, South Carolina, Michigan, and Clowney destroyed a human being.
Yep.
But you're just
January 1st,
now
2013.
all that matters is 12 teams. And did you see how much fun game day was today? Did you watch any of it?
A little bit. I saw
And
a
I know
little
this
bit.
is an Alabama channel, so it's a little hypocritical to say this, but I'm sorry I cut you off.
Nah, you're good, man. You're
I know this
good.
is an Alabama channel, so it's a little hypocritical to say this, but like, it's amazing what happens on ESPN and with these crowds when they start to understand that more than 12 teams exist, or like probably closer to 20 teams exist, and talk about the same 20 teams over and over and over again. It's like the NFL and the Cowboys. It's like, well, if ESPN's not talking about Georgia, Bama, Texas, OU, Ohio State, Michigan, maybe USC, like, and this includes Fox on this part too. There's other teams that have great traditions. Cal has like half a dozen Hall of Famers, half a dozen all-time greats, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Marshawn or Deshaun Jackson or all these dudes, and they're just largely ignored for the most part.
Yeah.
And today they're getting their moment, and they're showing out, and in an hour we'll find out if they can beat Miami. For God's sakes, they made a hot to go parody with Jade Knott, which is hilarious. I love that.
True. It was pretty cool.
All right, I'm done ranting about that.
It's all right, man.
I love the sport sometimes, man. I love the sport so much, but the people in charge of it don't understand what makes it special. They just don't.
Man.
And today's like today are why they're special. I know Alabama fans, you're hurting. I understand that. I'm sorry. But like, maybe in a couple years, you can kind of look back and be like, I'm sure Vanderbilt fans, that was an amazing night. Because Bama's going to be fine down the road. Maybe not this year. We'll find out. But Bama's going to be fine. The machine's too big to fail.
True.
A couple years from now, you're going to be like, that was a really cool night for Vanderbilt.
It kind of feels similar to Oklahoma losing to Iowa State in 2017.
Yeah.
It feels
like that, or
strangely similar to that for some reason.
Or when KU beat Texas. Like, that Texas team was horrible. That was in Sark's first year. But KU was like 2-10, and they were like 2-10 for a decade. They win the game. And those Kansas, I'm a Mizzou guy. I deal with a lot of Kansas people. They still talk about that game because they're like, man, we beat Texas. Like, we never beat Texas.
Yeah.
Because they don't. And even a more recent example for Kansas, because I like making fun of them because they're a dog crap program that is equal to Vanderbilt. When they beat OU last year around this time. Like, this is what college football is about. So I understand you guys are hurting. You'll get a chance to play Vanderbilt next year. We're just switching the schedule, which is really dumb, but whatever. It's not
for sure.
I mean, it's just that was just like kind of like a panic move. Like, oh crap, what do we do for 2025? All right, let's just switch the schedule because we're going to go to a 9-game conference schedule here soon.
Yeah,
I presume.
I think we're heading down that road anyway, for sure.
As they should. Now, I know the people that are like 10, 12, 11 game. No. This isn't the NFL. These kids are not ready to play 12, 13. Shoot, if you play a 9-game conference schedule, you're going to hit a point where these kids are playing 16 games against Power 5 competition. Like, these kids aren't ready. 18, 20-year-olds are not ready for that.
No.
But we'll cross that bridge when we get there, obviously. So
obviously. Oh, yeah. Like, we definitely will. But, Zach, what have you got going on in your adventures this week?
So last week, if you were on here with me, if you want to see a bunch of tweets about Mizzou today, that would my rage. Or where I talked about, I think Vanderbilt might have a top half staff in college football. If you could follow me on there, I tweet a lot about movies because I did go to school for broadcasting and film. So last week we made the announcement. At least I did, that we're going to do a Voice of College Football at Mizzou. I will be the one. Yep, subscribe. We're trying to get, 500 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers. We're going to knock these goals down. The Voice of College Football is growing. Mark's doing an unbelievable job with this, as is and TJ and the rest of the staff here. But we're doing a Mizzou channel. I'm going to be the host of it. I've done Bama for 3 years. I've had so much fun. But it'll be a little different doing a team that I care about. So I'm going to have to kind of restrain myself, especially after days like today where Mizzou should have played basically everything everyone has ever said about Mizzou about belonging in the SEC, they were proven right today. But hopefully we get that up and running. We're having some issues with like making videos longer than like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And getting that booted so we can start doing Mizzou Live. We'll do Mizzou Postgame. Hopefully I'm here at Mizzou Postgame next week when they play UMass. I don't know. Don't ask. They're going to Amherst. They're playing at old McGurk Stadium, baby. Home of the Minutemen. The old AD. If you want to have a laugh, you guys, look at Mizzou's like future non-cons. They play like at Northern Illinois, at San Diego State, at North Texas. Like the old AD, not the old AD, because we just got a new AD. 2 ADs ago, his name was Jim Stark. Scheduled a bunch of weird games. I don't understand it. Whatever. But hopefully we're here next week for that. So subscribe to the channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. My rant about college football like 2 minutes ago, that's going to be me just talking about Mizzou, because I won't be as objectionable as I am here. I'll be more personal, even though I got to stop taking it so personally. But that's about it for me. I'll be working, making the money. And Jackson, what about you, brother?
Well, of course, I'm getting ready for Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. Central Time for another edition of Crimson Tide Live right here on Alabama with the Voice of College Football with Johnny Burtz, as he and I will be going over where we went wrong against Vanderbilt, which, I mean, for some people that didn't watch tonight's edition of the postgame show, well, we'll go over that again to start off the show. And we will be having a special guest from Rivals.com at the Gamecock Scoop, South Carolina beat writer Alan Cole, where he will join us to discuss the Alabama-South Carolina preview. And you can also find me on YouTube at Jackson Johnson 979 on YouTube. You can also find me on X at JacksonVOCFB and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908, where I go over some of the updates on some stuff here and there, some magic that's being worked on, if you will. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a wild ride. And thank you for tuning in to the Alabama Vanderbilt postgame show. Alabama fans, we're sorry. We are sorry that Bama lost, but we hope next week will be a lot better than this week. And the bright side about being down is the only way to go is up.
Can't get much lower than losing to Vanderbilt. That's true.
And for
lose to Mercer, but
yep. And for all the people that don't like Bama, well, enjoy it while you can, because you won't enjoy it much long. You won't enjoy it much long. So come on in, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell to Alabama with the Voice of College Football so you do not miss another video whatsoever, and we will catch you soon. Stay safe, stay warm. It's cold out.